This video is going to go over monthly budgets, and we are going to look at two different things of your budget: income and expenses. The first thing we need to go over is some vocabulary words so we know what we're dealing with when we get to a question. The first vocabulary word is income. Income is just money that you earn doing different types of jobs. The second word is expenses. Expenses are when you spend money, anything you pay for. Then we have two different types of expenses. We have a fixed expense and we have a variable expense. Whoops. All right, so what we want to focus on, what makes something a fixed expense? All right, fixed expense, the reason it's fixed is because it does not change from month to month. You always pay the same amount. Always pay the same amount. Then a variable expense, the difference in that is you have some control. Whoops, I did it again. You have some control over the amount that you spend, which basically means it's not the same every month. Not the same. Oops, I did not spell that right. Not the same every month. You get to decide how much you want to spend. Okay, and then the last thing on the vocab list is debt. Debt is when you owe money to someone. So a loan or like a credit card is also a type of debt. The first question we're going to look at, it says, what percent of the Alvarados' income goes to their mortgage payment? So this graph is a circle graph. As we look around, all the categories are being represented as percentages. Circle graphs are most often told to you the quantities in percents. Another piece of information that's really, really important is up here at the top. We need to know their total amount of money in order to answer these questions. So their monthly income is $6,000. So when I add all of these things up, I get 100%, but their money, 100% of it is $6,000. Now, when I look back at question 1, it wants to know the percentage for mortgage payment. So I would just come over and look for the word mortgage. Okay, it's already in percent, so I basically just have to write the answer down. It's 23%. Not too hard. Question 2, how much do the Alvarados spend on food each month? Notice this one did not say percent. So when that happens, I need to put my amount as actual money. When it just says how much do they spend on food, this one's an actual dollar amount, not a percentage. If it wanted it as a percent, it would say so. So for this one, I need to go look at food. Food is 12%. Okay. When we've been working with percentages in the past, we have converted them into a decimal. I would move the decimal point back twice, so that turns into 0.12. So that is step 1. Then step 2, what I need to do is take my monthly income and I'm going to multiply that by now the percent for food. Okay. When I look over their monthly income, remember, was $6,000. And now the percent as a decimal is 0.12. I'm going to make this really easy. I am going to say 0.12 times 6, and then I'm going to put the 3 zeros out on the end because zeros don't change. So really, I just need to multiply 12 times 6, drop down my zeros, and then I'll put in the decimal. So 6 times 2 is 12. 6 times 1 plus 1 is 7. Then I drop down these 3 zeros. 1, 2, 3. Okay, the total number of digits that are behind the decimal is 2. 1, 2. Move the decimal point back. And now I know that my money was $720. Question 3. How much more do they spend on taxes than clothing? So when you look at this again, how much more taxes than clothing? It did not say percent again, so we want real numbers. The other thing to notice, when something says how much more, that means subtract. So my first step would be take my taxes and clothing and subtract what their percents are. So taxes is 15.8% minus clothing is 7%. 7's a whole number, so I need to add a decimal and put a 0. When I subtract, 8 minus 0 is 8. 15 minus 7 is also 8. So this is how much more they spend, 8.8%. I would turn that into a decimal. Okay, so this will be 0.088. Then I would multiply that by their total monthly income, which was $6,000. And I can make it easy, just like I did on the last one. I'll say 0.088 times 6,000, but really I'll just put the 6 and stick my zeros out on the end. 6 times 8 is 48. 6 times 8 is 48 plus 4 more, 49, 50, 51, 52. Okay, then again, I don't have to multiply with that 0 because it doesn't change. I want to drop down these 3 zeros. Then look and see how many digits are totally behind the decimal, which is 3. 1, 2, 3. Now I know how much more money they spent. It is $528. Number 4, the Alvarados buy medical insurance for $300 a month. What percent of their total budget is that? Medical insurance only. So this insurance over here includes all types of insurance. We just want to focus on medical insurance. That's not listed individually in the graph. So what I need to do is make a fraction. Okay, I have medical insurance. I'm just going to say med insurance over total. So $300. Their total monthly income, remember, was $6,000. Now, if I'm doing this as a percent, what I'm going to have to do is say, hey, I don't know the percentage. If you don't want an X, you could also put a question mark. Some people like the letter. But what percent out of all their budget, 100% of their money is spent on medical insurance? Okay, to solve this, I would cross multiply and then divide. So 300 times 100. Anytime you multiply with 100, you just add 2 more zeros to the number. I think I want to move these over so I have a little bit more space. 300 times 100. I would write the number 300 down and then put 2 more zeros on the back. Okay, then I would divide by 6,000. So I'm going to put the number I just got when I multiplied, 30,000 inside the box, 6,000 outside the box. Now, these are really big numbers, but they have stuff in common. Okay, I could take off 3 zeros there and take off 3 zeros there. Now, this is super easy. All I'm really doing is I'm dividing 6 into 30. So 6 times something is 30. That's 5. 6 times 5 is exactly 30. So, boom, I'm finished. And my answer now would be 5%. Last question. It says, is medical insurance a fixed or a variable expense? And then explain. Okay, so thinking back, medical insurance, is it fixed or is it variable? When we think back, fixed means you spend the same amount every month. Variable means you decide how much to spend. Or you don't spend the same amount every month, basically. Not the same each month. Okay, you choose. You decide how much. Okay, well, just so you know, when you get to be older and you have insurance, you don't get to tell the company how much you're going to pay. They tell you. So this would be a fixed expense, and it's because you pay the same amount every month. You don't get to decide how much to pay.